Hi there, welcome. My name's Nathan, and I thought I would share with you today a Taoist practice for improving our defense against viruses and harmful external things that can get into our system and impact our health. There's been a cold going around the last little while, the COVID-19. I'm recording this at the end of March 2020. And a few months ago, my teacher, Wang, who's a Taoist teacher in China, he wanted to share this practice, which I'm going to share with you today, as widely as possible to help people manage their health and stay healthy with the current situation. This practice is quite an intense breathing exercise that works deeply inside the chest and the lower abdominal cavity to fatten up a protective layer in the body called the Li. Now, Li is a layer of liquid that is between the skin and the muscle. I don't know if this exists in Western anatomy and physiology. Don't know. But it was first documented about 2,000 years ago in the Yellow Emperor's Classic. And it is an important organ, important thing that keeps us protected from external things. It directly regulates the Wei Qi. The Wei Qi is our field of energy that is used to protect us from external things that might harm us and hurt our or damage our health. Right. So by working with this breathing technique, we're going to fatten up the Li layer, and that in turn will help regulate the Wei Qi field. In a nutshell, it's good for your health, especially if there are viruses or whatnot moving around. Apparently, this really helps with keeping us healthy, and it's really fun too. It's intense. It's pretty intense, but it's a fun technique. So the technique works with turning Jing into Qi, and that in turn affects the Li layer. The Jing and Qi. I'm not going to get into what Jing and Qi are. They're different kinds of energy. Not important if you don't know. It's broken down into six steps. Each of those 6 steps, this breathing technique, is a breath. So there's 6 breaths. Each breath is fairly long, and it's characterized by quite a long inhale. Then we hold the breath, and then we exhale slowly, so it's long. And we do it 6 times at different areas in the body. Now, before we do this practice, you can do it standing or sitting, or even sitting on a chair is fine as well. I prefer it sitting cross-legged, but that's just my preference. First, start by getting into your position. Close the eyes. We have to do it with eyes closed. Although the eyes are closed, the eyeballs are looking down a little bit, or even more, and more than a little bit. And we start by the first 3 breaths will be on our chest cavity, thoracic cavity. In Chinese medicine, this is called the upper burner, right? So this area here, upper burner down to the diaphragm. This area here is what we're going to be working on for the first 3. And then the second set of 3 breaths, we move down to the lower abdominal cavity, the xiaofu. Xiaofu, navel, your belly button, right? And down to the perineum, the huiyin. And this is the lower burner. So we won't work with the middle burner. Just these 2. Close the eyes, quiet mind and body. Take a few minutes, just kind of get into the zone. You can focus on some just normal breathing, nose breathing, whatever you want. Get into the zone. And then we look down at the chest cavity. We put our yi nian into the chest cavity. Yi nian is awareness. So we fill the chest cavity with our awareness and our shen, our spirit. Once we're focused in there and we're ready to start, then we begin. Begin by first breathing in slowly. As we breathe in, we contract the chest cavity. Contract, breathe in, contract, breathe in, contract. Together, right? Breathe in, contract. You contract the back, the front, the ribs, press down, the spine, everything contracts in as you're breathing in. Once you've breathed in all the way and you're contracted, then you, second step, hold breath. You hold the breath, you do not breathe, and then you expand without exhaling. So you're not breathing, you're expanding from inside the chest cavity. You expand. You use your Yinan, your awareness and intention, to push out. Move everything, push out. And as that happens, your back will, the spine will straighten a bit. Everything will push out, right? You're still holding the breath. You're not breathing. Everything's pushing out. Use your best to push it out. And then when everything's pushed out, you hold that for a little bit, as long as you can. And then you exhale. And when you exhale slowly. You exhale slowly through the nose. You can also use the mouth for this if you need to, because it's pretty intense. You can use both. You can exhale through nose and mouth. You exhale, and as you exhale, relax. Completely and fully relax. Stay expanded and open in the chest cavity. That's just one breath, right? So the second breath, I'm going to keep it simple for our video here. Please check the blog for more info if you're interested. Second breath, breathe in again, same thing. We breathe in and contract, contract, breathe in, contract. Then you hold, and as you hold, same thing, exactly the same thing. You expand, 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 push out, push out, push out, right? You're not breathing yet, you're still holding in, but you've physically expanded, right? And then third part of the step 2 is breathe out and relax. Right? Slowly breathe out. And then step 3, you breathe in again, chest cavity, breathe in again, same thing. Breathe in all the way, contract, contract. And then you get to a point where you can't breathe in anymore. And then breathe in a little bit more. Really go for it. And then we hold again. And then as you're holding the breath, you expand the body, the chest cavity. Expand the chest cavity. Spine will straighten a bit. This will flatten the ribs, expand. Everything expands. 3-dimensional sphere. Expand. And then relax. And then breathe out and relax and relax. And it's really important that we fully relax because we're using tension and contraction. We want to make sure to release all that, right? You might start to feel hot as you're doing this. It really heats up the body if you do it right. So that's step 3. Now at this point I want to mention as well, when you're contracting the chest cavity, try not to contract the head, the back of the head, or other parts of your body. They'll contract a little bit probably, but we try to localize the contraction on the area that we're working, right? So everything else, just, if it does contract, don't worry about it, just focus here, everything focus here. Okay, so we've done 3 steps, that's the chest cavity. Then we've breathed out, and then we move Yinan down to the xiaofu, the lower abdominal cavity. Yinan is our awareness. We move our awareness down to this area, right? Navel down, pelvic bowl, right? The lower abdominal cavity. And then step 4, breathe in. And as we breathe in, we contract. There's a certain sequence for contracting the lower space, and that is we pull up on the anus, called tigang. We pull up on the anus a little bit, and then we pull up on the genitals. For us gentlemen out there, you don't need to contract the equipment, just where they attach to the body. For women, doesn't matter, just pull up there, contract. So we've got anus and genitals contract, and then the front of the belly, right? So the front of the belly goes in as we're breathing in. We're breathing in, we've contracted the lower gates, and we contract in, go in all the way, not up above this remains relaxed, navel down, contract in, contract, until you feel like the front of your belly is pressed against the back. And then again, you go inside, then you hold your breath, and as you're holding your breath, you expand physically from inside. Keep the anus and genitals relatively contracted, but we expand the front forward and expand inside as well. But try to keep the lower, called the lower gates. It's a place where chi will often leak out of the body. So you want to keep those gates sealed. So expand everything else, right? Still not breathing. And then you breathe out slowly through nose, through mouth, or mouth and nose, slowly, and relax, completely relax. Let go of all the tension. And then you do it again. And step 4, you do it again. And step 5, you do it again. There are some variations with each step, but I'm not going to get into on this video. Now, after we finish, then make sure your whole body is completely relaxed and sunk down, right? So as you relax, and especially on the last breath, breathe out, completely relaxed. Just feel everything hang. And then you can sit in stillness for as long as you like and just enjoy the response of your physical body to what you've just done. It's a very intense breathing technique because we're contracting quite hard and we're holding the breath. So do be careful with it. And if you're not sure, if you do it once and you don't feel very good afterwards, you feel a little lightheaded, then pay attention to that, right? Especially if we have a lot of tension in our chest, doing this sort of contraction can be counterproductive. But Wang Liping wanted me to share it. He wanted to share it with the world as we're going through this time together. So I trust him, but just as always, as practitioners, always pay attention to our own body and what's happening with the process. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a fun practice. Have fun with it, and I'll talk to you next time.